Hiya guys, and welcome to A Soul's Experience, a channel dedicated to helping the human race remember who we really are. Today is a day of miracles. It is a miracle for me because I am 1 year sober without any alcohol whatsoever. I'm actually 1 year, 2 days while I'm making this video. But I need to talk about how it feels, what's happened in the last year, and is there actually any difference? Well, of course there's a difference, but not in the way you may think. You see, I had it in my head when I was in a drunken, fueled haze, walking the streets of London, drinking the booze like it was tap water, gullocking down the poison down me gullet, down me neck like it was going out of fashion. I was a bit of a party animal. I love the karaoke scenes, the open mic nights, playing the guitar. Oh yeah, look, I didn't realise guitar's in the back there. Oh, fair play. Playing a guitar and all that party lifestyle. But I was an addict. And no amount of partying or, good time fun was going to make up for the amount of sickness and illness. The amount of years I was taking off my life by pouring the alcohol down my neck on a daily basis. I wasn't a binge drinker. I was a daily drinker from morning till night. I'd get up, the first thing I'd want to do is party. Now that addiction led me to homelessness. I couldn't hold down a job. It caused many times for the police to be called. Trouble at the flat, kicking off, fighting. All of the disorder that comes with drunken fools thinking they're having a good time. But on top of that, I was killing myself. I really was. So it led to homelessness. It led to prison. 3 different sentences. The last one spending 3 years locked up due to getting in a fight that got well out of hand. Happened at 4 o'clock in the morning. 2 different parties going on. In a block of flats, and there was trouble between the 2 groups which escalated all night till it came to a head at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it went really wrong. Something that would never have happened with sober people. Sober people aren't up at 4 o'clock in the morning shouting abuse at their neighbours. They're not doing that. They're not creating mayhem and disorder to the point that people end up in hospital and someone ends up in a cell for the next 3 years of their life. It's just, that doesn't happen in a sober society. Very rarely. Of course, people have disagreements. But if you get a bunch of people, where I lived was a very poverty-stricken area where I lived at the time. And so there wasn't a lot of hope. And I don't know what had happened, but it felt like the housing association had just got all of the same kind of characters, people with mental health issues, people with addiction, and they had just thrown them into these 3 blocks of flats and left us to all get on with it. There was bound to be trouble, and there was quite a bit. But when you're in addiction, all you care about is, you don't care about the fact you're killing yourself. You don't care about the fact you're hurting your family, yourself, everyone. You burn all your bridges. People you really love and care about, you end up hurting them the most because they love and care about you. And to watch someone you love go through that much pain, they don't understand. If they're not in the addiction themselves, they're not going to understand. But it really, and it's not lost on the person in addiction. Believe me, it's easy to look at someone in addiction and think you're being selfish, but the whole thing with addiction is you do not want to be addicted to it. It's very rare you find an addict and say, are you living your best life? They will tell you they're living a nightmare. They're living a living hell. Because I myself wanted to stop. But the fear of stopping and the fear of dying was kind of equal. Like, I was scared. Like, I knew I was going to die. I lost my mum when she was just 34 years old. I was only 14 when I lost my mum to alcohol. So I knew when I was 29, 30 years old or younger than that, I knew I was getting very close to the age that my mum passed away from the same disease. So I was terrified of dying, really terrified. But what scared me just equally or more was the thought of having to deal with reality after being so ill for so long, feeling so weak and so lost and so insecure, low self-esteem after being an addict for so many years. My self-esteem was at rock bottom. I felt like I was worth nothing, and so the only time I felt any kind of happiness was once I started feeling the effects of the chemicals in my bloodstreams. That's the only time I could find happiness. So it was scarier to face reality in pain than it was to actually die from the addiction you were doing. And that is why so many people overdose and drink themselves to death, and all the other horrific stories, losing limbs and flesh-eating trank that people are on, and fentanyl crisis at the minute. I mean, addiction spreads far and wide, and it doesn't stop with drinking drugs. It goes on to food, it goes on to body dysmorphia, it goes on to gambling. People can be addicted to sex, people can be addicted to self-harm. Addiction can come in so many ways that we really have to be careful that if we have an insecurity, we don't just try and fill it with these quick, pleasurable activities. But the problem is, when you're so young and you've been through something so traumatic, which so many of us have, a lot of addiction starts from trauma as childhood. Especially if we've witnessed our parents going through the same addiction, and it's caused this trauma, and we think, well, what is that? Why has my mum or my dad completely ruined our lives for this substance? Then curiosity, it must be amazing. If it's that good to lose your family over and lose your life over, it must be awesome. So as a stupid kid, you end up trying this stuff, and it takes away that pain you've been feeling all your life. Takes it away for an hour, maybe a day, maybe you're on it for a week and you don't feel nothing for a week, and you don't become addicted to the substance. What you become addicted to is not feeling, especially if you've grown up and all you felt is pain and trauma. The feeling of not feeling that is what becomes addictive. The feeling of feeling some kind of normality, some kind of numbness within yourself, not waking up with a pain, not falling asleep with a pain, that's what becomes addictive. So I told myself when I was in addiction that if I could just sober up, then I'll be a millionaire by now. I'll be a professional guitarist. I'll be a professional skateboarder. I'll be a professional tattoo artist. If only I could sober up, then I could do anything I wanted to do in life. And that isn't actually what has happened. You see, I spent 22 years in addiction. I got really, really good at my addiction. And what I mean by that is somehow I could find money for my drink. If I couldn't find money for my drink, I'd be able to find drink, or find a friend who had money for drink, or find a way of getting drink without the money. I was really good at keeping myself in addiction. And then once I was in addiction, I was like this amazing party goer. I could go for days. I was the funnest guy to have around. I could play guitar, drums, sing. I could skateboard, get the old tattoo gun out and start whapping tattoos on people. So I was kind of like, if you wanted a class clown, if you wanted a clown, a jester, I'd spent 22 years perfecting the art of being a fool. Honestly, professional clown. It could have been me at adult parties, because they don't allow booze at kids' ones. Well, they bloody shouldn't. But that was me. I was the professional joker. And I got really good at it. And then it stopped a year ago, and I started doing martial arts. I'm doing really well at my martial arts. I still play my guitar, and I don't do any open mic nights, any karaoke anymore. I don't go to events like that. I can still go to parties and weddings and things and not drink. I've been to my own wedding sober. I've been to my sister's wedding, done that sober. I've done a Christmas sober. So I've done all the big events sober, so I know I can do it. But I'm not going to go out there and put myself, start playing live music every night like I used to, and put myself in that environment all the time. Once in a blue moon is okay, especially if I'm driving. I have a really great excuse not to drink. Oh, I'm driving. It just straight away, it's a great excuse. Can't have a drink, I'm driving. So that really helps, having my car. But yeah, it's like all of a sudden you don't sober up and your life falls together. In fact, it gets super difficult because, when I was drunk, just playing guitar and skateboarding all the time, who cared? Like, I was drunk, I wasn't thinking about a career, I wasn't thinking about the future, I wasn't thinking about savings and a house, and I didn't even have my license at the time, so I wasn't thinking about paying for a car, or I didn't have any kids at the time, so I didn't really care about I didn't have any responsibilities. So I could be as drunk as I wanted from morning till night, and no one relied on me apart from me. And so if I wanted to play guitar all day and skateboard all night, or skateboard all day and play guitar all night, well, that's what I was going to do. And I really didn't care, you know. But now I have 4 children who rely on me. I have a wife. I have a car. I still don't have a career. And that's cool, man, because, damn, shit, I don't think money's everything. You know, money isn't everything. But happiness has to come first. And I refuse to be stuck in a job that I hate. I can't do it. Can't do it. I could do a job I hated for a minimal amount of time, but after a month, it's like, why am I getting up every day to do something I don't like? That makes no sense. But so after you sober up, life doesn't just fall into place. It leaves this big question of, well, what do I do now? I filled up every single day with partying and having fun. What do I do now? I cook, I clean, I look after the kids, I do the school runs, I take my wife to work. That's it. That's literally it at the minute. However, there is an upside to all of this. Because what I haven't been doing is running around being arrested. What I haven't been doing is going out there getting into fights. What I haven't been doing is turning my back on God, saying F you, I'm in control in this, and doing the devil's work. I haven't been hurting my family. I haven't been hurting my children. I haven't been spending hundreds of pounds on alcohol and cigarettes. And I haven't been killing myself. So when you're an addict, you think, if I could just sober up, I'm going to have all this stuff. It doesn't work like that. I'm going to sober up. I'm not going to die young. Touch wood. I'm not going to hurt my family. I'm not going to run around and beat people up for no reason. I'm not going to be beating up myself for no reason. I'm not going to put myself in situations where I'm going to hurt myself and hurt others. I'm not going to pour this poison down my neck anymore. So it isn't about what you gain. It's about what you don't do, what you don't gain. You don't gain all the negative with it. And when you don't gain all the negative in your life, it does leave this flatness. And that's where we have to start building from, and that takes time. I couldn't just handle a drink straight away when I was 13 years old. But I guarantee you, when I was 35 or 30 years old, I was handling many, many drinks. It took a long time for me to get good at my addiction. So it might take for me, I'm 37 years old now. I quit when I was 36. I was drinking from 13 years old. And all the rest of it, heavy drugs. By 16, I was on some heavy, heavy drugs. Not addicted, but I would party with them. So alcohol would be my daily. Then on the weekend, it would just escalate to Class A's to party. So this is the reality of what a lot of our young children are doing. They're starting on the booze or the fags, you know. And I can't really bring cannabis into this. I'm not going to really bring that into this because I don't feel like... I feel like if we're going to class cannabis as a drug, then we need to put it in the same category as tobacco, in the fact that it's a drug in a sense of the effects aren't instantly devastating. Like, you can't instantly OD from a cigarette. There's been 0 reported cases of deaths from cannabis at all, so you can't OD from cannabis. However, could the action of the rolling of the roll up, the rolling of the spliff, could the action of that then lead into, you know, other things that end up in your hands, and it just becomes a familiarity to have this thing called a drug that doesn't seem to do much harm. Maybe this next drug doesn't do much harm. Maybe the next one doesn't do much harm until it does. And so if you're in your recovery, if you're an addict yourself and you're in your recovery, congratulations, well done. If you're not quite there, then there is such thing as divine timing. I tried to quit like 20 times, like went to rehab twice and done all of that. Went on to a drug rehabilitation wing for 2 years. So I've done all the counselling and all the therapy and everything you can imagine. But it wasn't right. I couldn't quit until one day I actually prayed. And this is a true story I'm about to tell you right now. I was engaged to the woman I married. I was with my family and I was slipping back into old habits. oh, I'll just drink once a month. Okay, that once a month turned into Friday till Sunday. Oh no, you know, that's I'm drinking so much once a month because I'm waiting once a month. I'll just drink one day every weekend. Then that turned into Friday to Sunday every weekend. I was trying to justify how I could drink, you know, and I couldn't. It was about to break down my marriage. I was about to lose it all again, and I couldn't go through it all again. So I screamed at the top of my lungs one day. I had this massive breakdown, and I was crying my eyes out, red, shaking. I just wanted to die, if I'm being honest. I wanted to die. I couldn't handle the addiction anymore. And so I screamed at the top of my lungs, God, heal me or kill me. And I meant it. I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to be here anymore. If I could not stop drinking, I wanted God to take my soul from my body. I wanted my body to no longer exist, and I wanted the pain to no longer exist. I prayed for death or for healing. And I'm still here. So we know which one happened, but how did it happen? How could God actually heal me? I thought he was going to give me the willpower to stop, but he didn't. What happened was, a week later I tried to have a drink. I stayed sober for 5 days, and then I gave in. I thought, fucking hell, I'm gagging for a drink here, so obviously I'm not healed. So I thought, I'm just going to drink. And so I sat at my allotment in my shed and started drinking. Felt great. First beer down. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Started feeling warm. Second beer in. Started feeling tingly. Yeah, the music goes on. Third beer. This weird feeling in my stomach. And I just felt it coming up and I just threw up. I violently threw up all my beer. And I felt normal again. So I tried to drink that beer and I threw up. I tried to drink the second beer, threw up. Got really cold and shivery and felt awful. And so I went home and gave up trying to drink that day. And next weekend, the same thing happened. First beer felt great. Second beer felt great. Third beer started throwing up again. I physically could not get drunk. I went out for my stag do about 2 weeks later. Went out at 8 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I was in the alley, throwing my guts up. By 10:30, I was going home. And by 11 o'clock, I was in bed, sick as a dog, after a few drinks. I was the kind of guy that could knock back a crate of Stella by lunchtime, go get a bottle of rum, knock that back by 5 o'clock, then I'm down the pub, knocking back shots of whatever, acting like an idiot. I used to be able to stomach loads of booze. Now I scream to God, heal me or kill me. Next minute, I can't even have 3 beers. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I hated the fact that I could no longer get drunk. But I prayed for healing, and healing's kind of what I got. Just not in the way I thought. It's funny how life works. And after my stag do, which was the 21st of October 2023, so I was sober from the 22nd. After that, I gave up. I thought, I'm not going to bother drinking. I can't do it. Tried to drink 3 times after my prayer, and every time I got so ill, I ended up in bed shivering, cold shakes, just sick as a dog, like getting the flu. I would drink, just a few drinks, 2 or 3, I'd throw up everywhere and then have flu-like symptoms all night, shivering, cold, sweats, backache, body ache, just like I'd been poisoned. And God had made it so my body could no longer tolerate even the slightest bit of alcohol, which is a blessing, because without that feeling of feeling like I'm going to die every time I was going to drink, I really don't know if I could have done it. So please, if you feel like you're stuck in addiction, say a prayer and mean it. I meant it. I wanted to die. If I could not stop drinking, I wanted to be dead, and I was never going to kill myself. I wanted God to remove me from this planet himself. God chose for me to still be around for whatever purpose. So he healed me. And it is because of the love of God that I am sober today. And that is my testimony and my truth. That is the truth. I don't know how else to say it. I screamed for help, and there he was. There they were. But I just want to thank you all for being down here on earth with me and all of us at this great time of awakening. It's because of the rising of the vibration of Gaia and all of us and the consciousness of the planet rising that we are all able to achieve miracles. And yes, me being sober today is a miracle. It's still not real. I don't think a year, after 22 years of the hell I've been through, a year is still, I'm very much still in like, so what does a year sober mean? What does that mean? I have no idea. I have no idea. All I know is that I'm not going to go back to drinking. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I don't know what miracles God has in store, but that's where faith comes in. I have to just know that if I stay sober and keep staying sober, I'm not going to create negative stuff. I might not be a millionaire because of it, but I'm not going to end up back on the streets because of it. I'm not going to die because of it. I'm not going to have liver failure because of it. I'm not going to end up homeless or in prison because of it. I'm not going to lose my wife and my kids because of it. And most important, I'm not going to teach my kids that drinking alcohol is okay. Because it ain't. It just ain't. And if you feel like you need it to relax, like, oh, I just have it once a year at Christmas to relax. Can you have Christmas without it? Because if you can't, you're an alcoholic. If that one day a year you really need it to, oh, it's Christmas, I need my brandy, you're an alcoholic. Oh, but I only drink once a year, you're an alcoholic. Do a Christmas without it. Do a birthday without it. Work a week, get to Friday evening and relax without a glass of wine. Alcoholics aren't always the blokes who stink a piss living on the streets. They're the businesswomen, the lawyers, the doctors, the teachers, the mechanics, the mums, the dads. Addiction runs through all circles and it does not discriminate between colour or profession or class. So let's leave it there because it's been quite a deep one. I like to have a bit of fun in my videos, but there ain't much fun about people dying from addiction. But I'll tell you what is fun. Getting in recovery and trying to find out what is next after this year of sobriety. What will come next? I will post another video in another 6 months of 18 months sobriety. And we'll see what differences have come there. The biggest positive changes, though, like I said, is like my martial arts. There's no way I'd be able to go to martial arts and now start teaching martial arts myself. There's no way I'll be able to start doing that every single Friday and keep up with my training, my routine if I was drunk. So there's no way I'd have been able to pass my test or even have a car and be able to keep up with car payments if I was drunk. House, wife, kids, family, the lot. So there is much to gain. There is much to gain from sobering up. But the one best thing about sobering up is your health. You get to get your health back. And if you don't have your health, you ain't got no wealth. Simples. So if you're new, simples? What the hell? Where did simples come from, man? Dang. So if you're a returning viewer, I want to thank you for watching this video. And like I said, thank you for being down here on earth with me and all of us at this great time of awakening. Please like and subscribe if you are new to the channel and hit the notification icon. It does help the channel grow. And it's absolutely free. You can do it right now for free. You can just go like and subscribe and it don't cost you a penny. And do you know what you're going to get? More amazing videos like this. So until next time, please take care. Much love and goodbye for now. I'll see you soon.
There's not much to do when all I can is thinking about you. Not doing well, don't know where you are, 'cause you're not here. It's been way too long.